Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Awakened Creators Podcast, a podcast for high vibe creatives. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that I struggled with quite a bit and still do from time to time, and it's this idea about being powerless and allowing this creative experience to rely on other people coming through for us. Agents, editors, gallery owners, you name it. We seem to be at the mercy of others appreciating or enjoying our work enough to allow us into this kingdom that we are trying so hard to be a part of as creatives. So I want to dive into this tender subject and give you some tools, hopefully some shifts in perspective to help you look at this from a different angle and understand the power that you do have right there with you now. But before we get started, let's go ahead and read the official Awakened Creators invocation and bring some divine love and energy into this experience today. If you don't have a copy of the Awakened Creators invocation, you can snag one. I'll put the link in the description box below. It's a quick PDF download, and you'll be right along with me. It comes in either a dark or a light aesthetic. It's a very beautiful document. So if you want to grab that and read along, you are more than welcome to, but let's begin. As always, we're going to start by taking 3 beautiful cleansing breaths, getting ourselves nice and centered. Beginning with an inhale in to our belly and then a slow exhale out, pulling our navel into our spine. Here we go. Inhale in and exhale. And inhale in, nice and deep, and exhale. And last one, inhaling in, and exhale, letting all your worries away. Very good. Dearest God, universe, being of all beings, thank you for allowing me this sacred moment in space and time to express the gift of my creativity. I honor the creative expression within me and promise to bring it forth with love, to nurture it and protect it as my unique creation. Today, I allow the creative process to unfold in whatever way is divinely intended, and I surrender control in favor of divine grace and joy. I embrace the joy of this experience as my birthright, and I love myself for allowing my heart to play today. Thank you for guiding my podcast today. May every moment be a living expression of my unconditional love and acceptance of self in all my imperfect glory. I humbly thank you for the opportunity to breathe new life into this world and to stand in my power as an awakened creator, now and forevermore. I love you, and so it is. So, when I began taking my writing seriously and writing up manuscripts, learning how to submit them to agents and editors, in my search for an agent, I found somebody who I felt like was perfect. I mean, I thought the stars had aligned. I was certain that she was the one. I would go to their website and read their kind of manifesto as an agency, and it just resonated with me so deeply, and I was so certain that that would be where I would find my success. And so I sent off my manuscript to this agent, and as you can imagine, since I'm talking about it and I don't sound too thrilled, nothing happened. I never heard a word. It just went into the void. And I can remember as I was waiting to hear back, I refused to send my manuscript anywhere else. I was, again, so certain that they were the one that I withheld my ability to grow and learn or even have it be accepted by anyone other than her for months, until I finally realized she was never going to get back to me, and it devastated me. And I'm telling you this because there's been other instances on my creative journey, and I assume on yours as well, where we have created something that we really love and that we find fulfilling and are excited to share with the world. But we perceive this system outside of us as containing all of these gatekeepers that prevent us from experiencing the full opportunity of our creation. So yes, we created it, but we can't really enjoy it or be totally happy with it until someone else acknowledges it, recognizes the message within it, sees the potential within us, signs us the contract, gives us the movie deal, whatever we're going for, right? As I'm describing this, I'm hoping that you're seeing in your mind how thinking in this manner puts you on one side of success and everyone else holding all the cards on the other side, to where you are now this powerless being who is at the mercy of all of these gatekeepers. As you can imagine, this creates the problem of perpetuating self-worth issues and indicating to your subconscious that you are not good enough unless and if these other people recognize you as such. And that's a really awful position to place yourself in, because now you have no leverage for yourself. You have no power. You have nothing. You're waiting around for something to happen that you can't control. The other problem that it creates is that we start attaching ourselves really tightly to certain projects or certain people, like in my case, who we believe are the holders of the key. So you might insist that this piece of art or this manuscript or this screenplay be the one, that this project is my debut. This is the one that's going to blast me into the stratosphere of success, this project here. And if you cling too tightly to that, you will prevent yourself from experiencing the joy of exploring new projects. You also prevent yourself from the possibility and the very high probability that that experience, that project, or the experience in my case of submitting to that specific agent, was a supreme learning experience and nothing more. Now, it can suck to hear that, especially if you are really attached to that specific project, which again is why this is a problem. Because if you are attached to it, you will refuse to see the lesson and you will spin on your hamster wheel until you are exhausted or you give up. And I don't want you to give up. Your creations don't want you to give up. Your soul does not want you to give up. So the key here, and I mentioned this in my first episode Magic Carpet Ride, which if you haven't listened, you want to take a listen if this is resonating with you, because there's some wisdom in there that I think would help. This idea of trust and surrender, and that every moment in your journey is a worthy moment, whether or not that is the one that sort of propels you to greatness. When you zoom out, if you were to take on the perspective of your soul and zoom out from your life, you would see that all of these experiences are part of the greatness. They are part of the development of this great artist and creative that you are becoming. So you really need to find a way to shift that inside yourself and flip that power from them to you. And one way that I like to do this, and that I have found helpful, is to recognize the humanity of those people. And I think maybe I just realized this is why some, that classic stage fright remedy of imagining everyone in the audience naked. I think I finally understand what that visual is trying to do. It's trying to take back the power that you've given to the audience by revealing their humanity. So rather than walk around visualizing everyone naked, which you could do, I guess, if you find that kind of fun. I think it's hilarious on occasion. What you could do, though, is to recognize that just like you, think of your experience in your life. This individual has also gone through a kind of similar journey to get to their position. And they're not necessarily any more powerful than you, even though they appear to be holding all the cards, or they appear to be standing at the gateway of getting published, or getting into that gallery, or getting in to that studio. I recently actually watched a YouTube video about what agents are looking for when they're reviewing manuscript submissions. I'm not currently querying anything. I'm actually working on heavy revisions on a novel of mine, so I'm not necessarily interested in, submitting to anyone. But I was curious, and I like this YouTube channel, so I was watching this video, and I realized as they were talking, it dawned on me in the most clearest way, oh my God, these people are human. These people are just like some random person walking around through a bookstore, picking up a book and going, I don't like this one. This one's okay. Oh yeah, I love this one. Okay, that is one person. And I don't mean to put that in a discouraging light. I honestly mean it to be empowering in the way that this stuff, where you're putting your work out into the world and kind of hoping someone notices it, that part of the equation is nowhere under your control. I mean, yes, you can edit your work. You can try to make it the best you can. You can try to, leverage your connections. You can try to write a very good submission letter, whatever. Those things you can control. Now, once it's out there, you can't control it at that point. You can look at that as being discouraging, or the way I'm challenging you to look at it is that it's one person. Just one. One person said no. One person isn't a fan. There's a lot of things that you're not a fan of, right? there are products on the shelves when you go to the store that you're not really into. It isn't that they're bad, because the person walking right behind you in the store may think it's the most gorgeous thing ever. They're just a person. They're a person who's chosen a career in this field rather than the one I'm in. That's literally it. They argue with their coworkers, probably. They find annoying when the barista gets their coffee order wrong. Like, they are a human being. Okay? And they are no more powerful than you. The other strategy, which you could guess by the title of this podcast what it is the power of fuck it. I cannot tell you how many times this phrase has gotten me through much of my creative journey. It may be vulgar to some, and I apologize for that. You can replace it with whatever gives that same energy of whatever. Like, it's just whatever. I did my part. I put myself out there. I created the piece. I wrote the manuscript. I took the photos. Whether somebody else likes it or not, whatever. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. There is some power in that attitude. Now, it can't come from an anger, but if it comes from a sort of releasing of control, which I think is what it's intended to do, it's intended to be this release of control, that is healthy. Because again, once you've done your part and you're waiting for other people to recognize it, you really, your options are quite limited. Again, there are some things you could do. You could market yourself. You can, blah, blah, blah. But at a certain point, you're still just waiting on them. So use the power of fuck it to release yourself from needing their approval, from needing their sign off in order for you to be happy, and go continue on your merry way while you wait for a response or while you wait for word back. Okay? I wouldn't recommend hanging so much on one person, hoping that they will be the magic pill that finally does it for you. So in closing, I would like to go ahead and pull a tarot card. And this one jumped out. Oh, wow. Okay, this is cool. We've got a visit from the Emperor. And I think that's really fitting for this conversation, because if anybody in the tarot is full of power, it's the Emperor. Again, if you're not familiar with the tarot, you can just do a quick Google search for the Emperor card. I'm using a traditional Rider-Waite deck. So the Emperor is obviously successful in what he does. He has created an empire that is solid, and he holds in his hand so much potential. I mean, really, the reason that I think that's important for us to focus on is because no matter where we're at, we have so much opportunity and potential in our hand that if we allow ourselves to kind of win some, lose some, and still remain confident that we're holding the majority of the cards by our sheer potential, then one no is not going to destroy us. Like, if you could think of this Emperor and how many battles he's been in, he's not sitting here worried about the 3 that he lost. Or even if he's lost more than that, I don't think that he spends his time worrying about them or ruminating over them. He is concerned about his next conquest, his next move. So I really encourage you to create a more stable foundation for yourself as a creator. And that stable foundation has to be built on self-empowerment, self-worth, and self-love. And if you can find a way to start cultivating those things, which you already are if you're still listening to this podcast and, interested in content like what Awaken Creators is putting out, because it's all about empowerment and self-love and making sure that you see the gift that you have in your hand, and that the only person really who can destroy it is you. And I want to help you not do that, because I know at a soul level you don't want to. You want to have abundance and success and prosperity through your joy, and I believe it's absolutely possible. And I want to help you get there as well, believing that, so that you can really make those shifts that you need to. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for listening. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified the next time I upload a podcast here on YouTube. If you are not already a part of the Awaken Creators family on Instagram, please join us at awaken.creators. It's just a lot of fun. It's a really supportive community of creatives, and that's what it's meant to be. So thank you so much for listening. I'm wishing you all the best and happy creating, and I love you. Take care. Namaste.